Katie, you've always been a pretty big sports guy, right?
Oh, huge. Go team.
Gotta root for the team. I'm worried that I will not survive June in New York City given what's going on now. Are you familiar with like the basics?
Well, June in New York City, muggy, ratty, garbagey. Are we talking about something else? I don't know why you're bringing sports into this.
The New York Knicks are a beloved local franchise, and they are in the NBA championship, I should say. They are up.
Wait, it's still NBA season? Is it all year?
You're a girl. You never fail to be a girl. You can try to hide being a girl with the whole lesbian thing, but you're a girl at heart. That short hair is not fooling me.
I have long hair now. Excuse me. I'm a long-haired butch.
It's not that way.
It's pretty long.
Let me look at the video.
It's pretty long.
Oh, well, yeah. It's actually pretty.
It's quite long.
What do you have what's like the... Is that like a highlights thing?
No, just grows like that.
Do you and Moose have the same hair?
We have very similar hair.
Is that why you love Moose so much?
His is much better than mine.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have thought many times if I could shave this dog and make a wig out of his hair, anybody would love to have. He has the hair, the Zoomers who perm their hair. They're doing the broccoli hair thing. I don't know if they're still doing it, but the curly.
I don't know what a Zoomer is.
Kids today have boys today have these curly, shaved under the bottom, but it's curly on top. Moose has that, but it's all natural and it's blonde on. He's just so gorgeous. Anyway, you were saying?
You should tell what people would buy. When we did the Dropout TV episode, there was one thing they did where they sold a cast member's hair.
Pubic hair. Yeah.
Not pubic. It was not pubic hair. Don't be weird about it. But if you,
that's the weird part.
It was head
totally
hair.
Normal.
Moose has
head hair.
Moose produces so much hair.
He does.
You could sell hair for $1 a vial to our sick audience. You could do that.
I don't know that. Someone might try to clone him, which actually would be fun. I'm doing this thing now. Can I derail this very quickly? I'm doing so. There's a
yeah.
You're probably familiar with the human longevity projects going on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the same thing is happening with dogs. There are.
I'm in the control group of what happens if you don't improve your lifestyle.
Yeah. So the same thing is happening with dogs. There's one drug in particular I think it's called rapamycin, and it's in humans, it's an immunosuppressant, but there are studies testing whether at low dosage, I believe it's low dosages, this could increase dog longevity. And there's one of these studies, it's called, I think the Old Dog Project or the Dog Aging Project out of University of...
The Old Dog Project?
Yeah, something like that. And out of University of Washington, and they're recruiting...
It's called the Dog Aging Project.
Yeah, the Old Dog Project. They're recruiting subjects for this study. And of course I want to get Moose in the trial, but you have to be neutered. So I'm thinking of cutting off my balls.
One of the first video result that came up was from 60 Minutes, actually.
R.I.P.
The Dog Aging Project, Sunday. What do you mean R.I.P.? It's still around.
So I don't think that he doesn't qualify for the trial because he's got his nuts, and I'm not willing to cut them off quite yet. But so I've been reaching out to vets asking if they would just prescribe it off label. No hits so far. I don't know why.
The point I was going to make was simply that New York is set to. It's hard, genuinely hard to describe. I was in Boston, early part of the 21st century, after a lot of sports futility. Some cities are just, you've never lived in you lived in Seattle.
Seattle won the Super Bowl. You might remember.
Seattle actually is a very intense sports city.
That's true. And I also don't live there.
Right. You live across the, whatever the fuck that thing is called.
Yeah. The town that I live in, I looked up the population yesterday. There's 1,700 people.
Does Port Townsend have a minor league baseball team?
No, they barely have a high school.
The Port Townsend Roadies.
Yeah, the Port Townsend tick deer.
No, there's there's a energy in the air. I remember from Boston in the early 2000s when we hadn't won anything for a long time, and there's just this. The air is charged, except New York is so much bigger. And
wait, is this the finals?
Yeah, this is the finals. They're up 1-0 by
Who
the
are they
time
playing?
The Spurs,
San Antonio,
the Knicks versus the Spurs. Yeah, you got it. Do you know who the big Frenchman on the Spurs is?
Pierre Geoffrench.
Yeah, that was a lucky pull, but you got it.
Is he black?
Well, he's Katie, do you know that people from France can be other races than white?
No, I know they can be Algerian.
If the Knicks win, I'm not the first to point this out. It's going to be a giant fucking explosion and riot, and I might not make it out. So these could be it's good. Like, people are going to lose their minds for days.
That's the great thing about sports. I lived in Chapel Hill when they won the national championship.
Basketball?
During the Tyler Hansborough years. And do you know who he is?
Yeah, he's a big white guy. They grow him big down there in North Carolina.
He's from the Midwest, of course.
He was one of a number of big white guys who got drafted high, pretty high, I think, in the NBA, and then just turns out are not very good in the NBA, which is understandable. NBA stuff.
He ended up playing in Europe for a little while, I think, and now he's really into pickleball. I follow him on Instagram. He used to come into Whole Foods all the time when I worked there. He had this like open mouth. He looked dumb. I don't know if he was dumb, but he looked dumb.
That's really offensive.
Well, it's also the truth, Jesse. I'm a truth seeker, a truth teller.
You're a real Dave Rubin type. Okay, who's drafted 13th. That's pretty high, not that high.
And it was very cute. Every single time that he came into Whole Foods, he would get these like, go to the hot bar, and he would pile pounds and pounds of hot bar food on his plate, and he never had to pay for it. Somebody would always, some like small person would always come up and pay for his food. Anyway, that's my professional basketball story. I did meet Muggsy Bogues once.
I think that's I think you just technically, he can't do that under the old NCAA rules. You might have just invalidated their national championship. That's an in-kind payment.
Anyway, so good luck to the Knicks. Jesse,
that would be really funny if, let me just derail the derailment.
Yeah.
If it turns out that Taylor Hansborough getting free food at Whole Foods violated his amateur status for the NCAA, and they stripped UNC of that title because of what you said on Blocked and Reported, I want this to happen.
And they gave it to Duke.
Just have to. Did they play Duke in the finals?
No, they can't. They're in the same. Don't you know how this works?
Because they have to give it to the. No, I know the rivalry. They have to give it to the geographically closest rival. What were you about to say before I derailed the derailment of the derailment?
Okay. Two things. One, so I have this like, I do the same thing I have like a routine every morning, and part of my routine after I do the New York Times crossword, connections, Wordle, now Pips, and then strands, then I spend an hour on games in the morning. I'm a gamer. Then I go to my Facebook and I look at my Facebook memories, and I delete them or I private them, because I'm slowly erasing my presence on the internet. And I saw one yesterday that was 17 years ago. I was doing an internship at the local public radio station in Chapel Hill, and they were doing the show was called The Story with Dick Gordon, and they were doing a series on the Innocence Project. And at some point, I guess this was the status update I had of the day. I had interviewed, doing like pre-interviews for the show. I had interviewed, or was like probably transcribing interviews. I don't think they let me interview anyone. A guy who had been wrongfully convicted, and he had spent his time in prison reaching out to innocence projects. He was his case was taken on by the Duke Innocence Project. And whoever was interviewing him, I think it was Phoebe Judge actually, she said, but Duke was the last one that he reached out to. And Phoebe was like, why did you take so long to reach out to Duke? And he said, nobody likes Duke.
I was curious how that story would tie in.
One more thing about sports. Good luck, by the way.
I think I said Taylor Hansborough a couple. I meant to say Tyler, obviously. It's obviously Tyler.
Obviously. Taylor's a girl's name. It's Tyler.
No, boys can be Taylor.
So Seattle is hosting. Is New York hosting any World Cup games?
Yeah.
Okay, so Seattle is hosting.
I think in I don't know. Anyway, yes, either here or across the river in Jersey.
Okay, so Seattle is hosting a bunch of World Cup games. It's during Pride Month, and the teams that are playing here, they don't know all of them, but I looked it up yesterday, and the teams that will be...
That's fucked up that they would do it during Pride, distracting from Pride.
Here are the teams that will be playing here in Seattle during Pride. Egypt, Qatar, or Qatar, how are we saying it these days? Qatar, and Iran, and during Pride.
Can I just say, I feel this is actually not funny, but it is. Some percentage of those players from those very repressive countries are gay. And they're going to have to like take buses through streets of just insane debauchery.
There's a naked bike ride in Seattle.
I know.
There are like public nudity is legal in Seattle. There's currently the jerk off trial at Denny Blaine. We'll have to talk about that when it wraps up. Like this is a city where it is not It is not impossible that you will be walking down the street, like on the way to the World Cup, and there will be a fentanyl addict jerking off on the street in front of you wearing a trans pride flag in full drag.
I feel bad for the closeted gay soccer players of those 3 teams because I'm an empathetic guy.
Okay, Jesse, enough sports talk.
That's been sports talk with Jesse and Katie.
What are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk about a young man who travels around Asia getting the shit kicked out of him and sometimes getting arrested. Before we get to that, a couple updatey things.
Is this a kink?
It might be at this point.
It sounds kinky.
Before we get to that, during our last episode, I made the mistake of inviting listeners to create new BarPod theme songs on Suno, the AI app.
Did you just say primo episode? It was a primo episode.
I meant to say primo episode.
You might have. I honestly don't know. It was in and out.
I don't know either. I can't remember. I'm not really...
There's no way to tell.
I'm doing 2 Rubik's Cubes, one with each hand, while I try to also do this podcast. A user named The Fine Print took us up on this, and I know listeners don't like when we really do too much AI stuff, except they love your images. Just they're universally beloved.
They're getting the problem with the images is that, like, I started using the AI images through Substack's really bad AI generator,
which will. Okay, we'll continue, and then I'll yell at you about that.
They were, and I like them because they were so bad.
They're getting too good.
They're getting too good. I don't like that. Substack, if you are listening to this, go back to the older models. I want to see 7 fingers. I want to see necks where legs go. Come on.
So the Fine Print made this one, which I think it represented a fair amount of effort on his or her part prompting-wise, but just listen to like the first 30 seconds of this, Katie, and won't bet it.
This is the theme song. It was an AI's idea. Here it is. There is a website, people argue there.
This is so good.
We read the
I know.
I'm going to just continue to listen to this. I could fall asleep to this.
Isn't that depressing? How good? Like,
people are going to start making love to this song. This song is good.
Later on, there's a line. There's a part you pay for. It's called the Primo. It's the regular show, but slightly worse.
Excuse me. It's better. It's actually better and always usually longer.
I think we will overlook the AI crushing the human creative spirit if the AI will provide small perks like cures for cancer and Alzheimer's. That seems like a fair trade for me. And doesn't kill us.
It's good. It's really good.
Or it's like, it's good enough you wouldn't know it's not a robot. I also have not really an update, but some entertaining missing context I should have provided. During our last premium episode, I briefly talked about a New York Times culture podcast about how America has a masculinity crisis. Podcast was hosted, as always, by Nadja Spiegelman. The guests were Ruth Whitman, she's like an author and journalist, and a guy named Frederick Joseph. Frederick Joseph is a New York Times bestselling author, a novelist, an essayist, and poet. He's had an impressive career. He offered some really fresh insights on this podcast, Katie. Will you read this one?
I think the reality is that we've always had patriarchy at the intersection of capitalism and white supremacy, and how those things feast on one another and lift one another up. Okay, I'm trying to picture this. You've got an intersection, there's capitalism and white supremacy, and then patriarchy.
Capitalism's a bus headed toward the intersection. White supremacy is like a tanker truck.
Okay, where does patriarchy come into it? Is that the road?
Well, the intersection of capitalism and white... Oh, sorry. Okay, patriarchy is the vehicle.
Okay.
And it hits the intersection of capitalism and white supremacy.
Okay.
And it collides with toxic masculinity.
I feel like this metaphor would have been better as a pyramid.
Just continue this one other bit.
But I think right now, more times than not, the role models that these young boys and young men have are not only divisive and toxic, but insidious and heinous, disgusting. Okay, so not only divisive and toxic, but also insidious and heinous, disgusting. That's bad. Truly, I mean, the president of the United States is an alleged rapist. What does that mean? You know, the popular thing that boys are watching is largely MMA, right? So I think we're in a horrible place. MMA doesn't really seem to fit into that. The boys are doing karate.
I'm so confused by that. I'm so this guy is like the masculinity expert or the expert at how to talk to young men, and he's like Trump, which is total fair point. Trump is in fact a toxic male and alleged rapist, but he's like, these boys are watching MMA. Yeah. It's such a weird thing. Listeners can go and check out that conversation for themselves. We'll link to it. Not all of it is as dumb as this part, but the reason I'm bringing it up is that another listener, not the AI song guy, pointed out that Frederick Joseph is actually a longtime recurring Bar Pod character. I had completely forgotten about this. Do you remember this?
I did. So the name, I'm gonna admit something sort of racist here. The name was familiar to me, but I had confused him with another sort of like intersectional online writer, black guy. I'm not remembering. So I was like, is it that guy that we talked about on the show, or is it that Jonathan? His name was Jonathan and it was spelled funny. Okay. You know who I'm talking about?
Vaguely. But yeah, that is pretty racist.
Yes, I had heard of him. I was confusing him with someone else.
He's been with us basically since our founding. We're currently recording episode 311. Shout out to 311 of the free version of the podcast. In episode 29, back in the summer of 2020, we talked about a negative experience Frederick Joseph had recently. Katie, read the top of this Vice story from close personal friend of the podcast, Anna Merlin.
Frederick T. Joseph, a marketing CEO, former national surrogate for Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. That makes it sound like he had their baby. That would be quite the pairing. And respected commentator on Race in America launched an impassioned Twitter thread on Monday night after finding himself at an Airbnb. Oh, this guy.
Keep reading.
At an Airbnb that he claimed was full of, quote, seemingly satanic items and stuff for witchcraft rituals. Joseph said that he and his family members were forced to flee the house after finding, quote, imagery, candles, books, etc. for rituals and what looked like devil worship. Both the host of the Airbnb in question and the Church of Satan had weighed in to dispute his description of the house and its contents. This was a good one.
It was. And Anna Merlin looked into this, and there did not appear to be any evidence.
Yeah. And Anna Merlin is not someone who, in general, who I trust.
Well, she had one
giant fuck up and is also kind of a bully online. Every time we talk about Anna Merlin.
She's like, it's hard not to mention this, but like, the major fuck up was in 2014, which I think usually grace
totally. Long time ago.
Gives someone grace, but like she hasn't really learned from it.
Well, yeah, okay, so that fuck up.
Here, wait, I'll just have you read the headline.
This was when she was at Jezebel. Is the UVA rape story a gigantic hoax? Asks Idiot. And the story was specifically about our friend Robbie Suave from Reason Mag. God, Robbie has been at Reason for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Jesus. And Robbie was one of the first people.
It's really sad to see someone's career stagnate like Robbie's has. He's struggling.
Yeah. So he was one of the first people to call into question the Sabrina Erdely piece in Rolling Stone about this like alleged gang rape at a frat party at UVA. And there's this, I wonder if the comment is still there. So if you go into the
comment was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So
I feel bad that we're like rehashing this. It looks like they've nuked their comment section. Basically,
it's not the comment. It's a correction at the bottom.
Oh God.
Can you see that?
Yeah. A previous version of this post incorrectly said Richard Bradley is retired. In fact, he's the current editor-in-chief of Worth. I regret the error. This is what a professional journalistic correction looks like in the unlikely event that any editors at Worth or writers at Reason ever need to issue one. Whoops.
Yeah.
And of course, now this has been updated significantly. In the original, okay, well, I'm going to rehash this just because she's the worst. But in the original comment section, which has since been nuked, Robbie popped up.
Oh, right.
And Anna responded, just the snarky Gawker bullshit and mentioning that she has a degree from Columbia Journalism Review.
Right.
And of course, Robbie was completely in the right here. And she's just, I don't know, maybe her other work is good.
Yeah.
But she seems like a very unpleasant person and not someone who has learned from a massive fuck up.
I just looked up Sabrina Erdely and she has not posted anything on social media, on Twitter at least, since November 30th, 2014. Her last post was a link to a Washington Post article. The Washington Post wrote an article about me and how my UVA article came to be. It's the last thing that she wrote. And then she retweets, apparently, she was on the Brian Lehrer show. And it's just, this whole thing is kind of sad, honestly. I wonder what happened to her. Sabrina, if you're listening to this, come on Blocked and Reported. I would love to speak to you.
Yeah, it's like the first line of her Wikipedia.
I'm sure this will be the first line of her obit. Like, what do you after a fuck up like that?
I didn't realize she was found personally responsible for $3 million in damages.
Damn.
That'll fucking ruin you.
Her fuck up was not intentional. You have other people who super fucked up, like Stephen Glass and James Fry, who has recently come back. I heard him on a podcast recently, and their fuck ups were like intentional. Hers was just sloppy and being too credulous.
It would be interesting. You should we're just giving away what I think are genuinely interesting ideas, but you should go to her website. I'm not going to, but you should go contact her on her website, which you can do.
You think does she still have a website like Sabrina?
Yes, she still has a website that, it's like it. I mean, she's not going to put on the cover of the website, I was responsible for the.
Well, I wonder if she's still,
I feel bad for her.
she's still like updating it, if it's like this website. Okay, I'm looking at the website now.
No, it stopped in 2014.
Yeah, she just disappeared. I wonder if she changed her name. That's interesting. Okay, I know you want to get back to Frederick Joseph and Anna Merlin for a second, but wait, I've got one other thing.
Fine.
So Helen's excellent weekly podcast. Helen Lewis has this excellent weekly newsletter called The Blue Stocking.
We'll link to it.
Yeah, and I just read it this morning. In her last issue, what's it called when it's a podcast? Post?
When it's a podcast? You mean newsletter?
I mean newsletter. Yeah, what's it called?
Her last newsletter?
Her last newsletter. She wrote about a story that we also talked on the Primo this week, which was the Canadian.
Talked on the Primo.
Helen wrote about in her newsletter a story that we also mentioned on the most recent Primo, which was a story about the Globe and Mail, this paper in Canada, that did a retrospective on the 5-year anniversary of the Kamloops unmarked graves scandal, in which this tribe said that 215 children were like... I think it was... It was 215, yeah. Were buried in this unmarked grave, which later became known as a mass grave. Anyway, so Helen pointed out something that I didn't realize. Naomi Klein, she wrote that book Doppelganger?
Yeah.
Okay, so the book is about Naomi Wolf because Naomi Klein was frequently mistaken for Naomi Wolf, who has obviously, if you follow Naomi Wolf, she has obviously become an absolute crackpot. Maybe she always was a crackpot, but she is a 5G chemtrails, they're, tinfoil hat wearing crackpot at this point. And she wrote this book about this. And Helen points out, I've never read the book. Helen points out that in the book, Naomi Klein compares the Canadian trucker protest. Do you remember this? This was in Canada. They drove from Alberta to the capital and clogged up the streets over these vaccine mandates. And Klein compared those protests, which were bad, according to Klein,
right,
with the protest over the residential schools, which were based on basically nothing. And she's writing this book about this crackpot who spreads misinformation while at the same time spreading misinformation, and has never apparently acknowledged the fact that she got this wrong. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's also a remote possibility that there are 215 children in these graves, but that's never been proven. But she just accepted this whole cloth while at the same time writing an entire book about this other woman with a similar name to her who's spreading misinformation. Anyway, Helen's newsletter is very good. Sorry, Jesse.
Yes. People should subscribe and we'll link to it. Back to Frederick.
Finally. I've been trying to get you to go back to Frederick.
I know. This is, we're multiple levels of derailment deep, but I went back and listened to some of our prior work on this, and it's wild because in addition to this witchcraft thing, there was this incident where he tried to Central Park Karen this woman in McCarran Park in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. He just posted a clip of himself saying, "Oh, you said go back to my hood," saying this white woman had said go back to your hood. He didn't include the context, which was this was some sort of fight over an aggressive dog in a dog park. I think the woman falsely thought the dog was his. He says she says this. He tagged her employer. She gets fired. This is 2021, so this was still going on.
Did she? I need to know if she said hood or neighborhood.
Hood. We talk about that. I went back and we talked about it.
Okay, did we?
We talked about how it would have been better to say neighborhood. But the point is, what he left
is appropriate AAB.
What he left out was that during this exchange, he volunteered that he was from Long Island City, this other nearby neighborhood, which casts it in a very different light. If he's like, I'm not from here, I'm from Long Island City, and she goes, go back to your hood. Yeah. That's really different from just
telling a black man to go back to the hood.
Yes, or his hood. There was also another instance, he posted, he just always did this weird race outrage bait. So he posted a photo of someone lying across 3 seats on an airplane he was on. Mm-hmm. And he said a black person wouldn't be allowed to do that. which is fair because this was a photo from Air Rhodesia. Katie, did you get that joke?
Yes.
Okay, good. It was really funny. And then he did another airline photo where he said that a woman put her feet on the seat, a white woman. And do you remember how the airline, she wouldn't take her feet down from the seat. Do you remember how he said the airline resolved this conflict?
Did they give her a pair of socks and upgrade her to first class?
He said they gave her $1,000.
No.
Which, as anyone who has ever been on an airplane, I mean,
the airplane that you're on could crash and they would not give you $1,000.
No, or they would fight it tooth and nail.
They won't even give you a second fucking ginger ale on a plane these days. Did not happen.
Excuse me, stewardess, we're about to crash. Could I have a second ginger ale? I listened back to the segment, the second segment we did on him because the haunted house one was its own thing.
Do we age well?
No.
Have our voices dropped?
You hadn't hit puberty yet, so your voice has dropped. It was good. I thought it was good. Classic vintage bar pod. We'll link to it. But yeah, we had basically come to the conclusion that this guy is like not just a grifter, but sort of the bad kind who like will really try to ruin other people's lives.
Yeah.
So I'm just surprised that in the vast universe of people the New York Times could have reached out to go on this prominent podcast and talk about males and masculinity. Not sure how he got the job, but I bet he must have a really good publicist or something.
You know, it does seem as though like there are some people whose moment in the cancellation or moment in the social media being the character of the day makes you like prohibits you from being welcomed in polite society again for minor and oftentimes unintentional crimes. And there are some people who just sort of skate through this. Like, I'll cut this if you think I should. Okay, there's a podcast that I've been trying to book myself on for, I won't mention the name of it, for like since my book came out, because it's a show about addiction. And I listened to it. It's an interesting podcast. The guy who's the host of it is someone who is sued for journalistic malpractice. Let's put it that way. He's much, much more well-known than I am. And he's much more, like his crimes were much greater, I think. And he went through this thing, changed his life, and now does this podcast about addiction. I do not think they would have me on this show because of the trans stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a whole...
But what he did is so much worse. So much worse.
The number of just objectively terrible people in certain corners of leftist media who just have the right views on... I mean, it's you can't... What are you going to do about it? It's idiotic, but yeah.
Right. It just... I don't know. It like continually baffles me. You have people like Ryan Broderick who, got busted for plagiarism, who has like who was fired from BuzzFeed, who has this very successful newsletter, who is still in the good graces of like sort of, I wouldn't say elite media, but like he is somebody who you will hear on podcasts that would never have someone like you or I on when we haven't done anything wrong. Like our views, I don't think our views are like our views are very mainstream for one thing, but also like we didn't commit any actual journalistic sins. We just reported on things that people didn't like. I don't know. It's fucking.
They've also created. I mean, in this sort of Gawker extended universe, some of them, not all of them, they've created this, in my view, delusional fantasy that there's been this swelling wave of transphobia, not in America but in liberal media because of people like us, and that all of these policy changes like youth gender medicine and the sports stuff and the prison stuff in places like California, people would have been cool with that if not for like us. Like, I mean, it's deranged, but the way they talk about it, they genuinely think that. So that's why some of them view us as the end. I mean, do you honestly think you've like, I don't know. It's just, it feels weird complaining about it because we've been so lucky.
It does feel weird.
And we've been lucky in part because of the way we talk about it.
It does feel weird, but I also just, I don't know. Actually, the New York Times, this podcast that they're doing, the Nadja Spiegelman podcast, she had Brock Collier on the show. Maybe he hasn't been canceled, but he's certainly.
I don't think it's he. I think it's she or they.
Right. Apologies. I don't think the podcast, well, whatever. We can move on. It's just.
Well, what was your point about Collier?
She, they is like a little bit problematic.
Collier will talk about gender and identity in a more interesting, less doctrinaire way than other people. This goes back to when then he was like then they were the party, like a sort of a party reporter, but that almost doesn't give them enough credit at New York Magazine.
Right.
And at one point they wrote a piece that was like pretty straightforward about like the social influence to sort of they yourself.
Yeah.
But like what like someone who doesn't like us or our podcast would be like, what the fuck are you complaining about? Like Jesse just wrote a Times column I have 2 Times columns on the youth gender stuff. How we're not canceled. You get opportunities.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Like what?
You get to go on like big podcasts. You hosted stuff for like Reflector.
Yeah.
You don't think you could write if you have you like pitched you don't think you think
I did pitch the
you're
Times.
Blacklisted from the Times?
I'm definitely not blacklisted, but I pitched the Times and I got like very far through when I was writing my book stuff and it didn't actually get published. And then like a week later a staffer at the Times a week later wrote a column extremely similar to the one that I pitched, which is just something that happens all the time.
But it does happen.
But that doesn't, I don't think that Nadja Spiegelman would like have you or me on the podcast.
Well,
I don't think that would happen.
This is a good opportunity for her to, she has to now because you said that.
My point is just that like someone like Frederick Joseph, who I think has done things that are actually unethical, like trying to get people fired, trying to get like an Airbnb banned from the fucking app or whatever. Like those sins don't count. But having like the normal opinion on.
I know, but this is all sort of factional bullshit.
Yes, it is.
You could like you can be a complete psycho online, openly calling for violence. I mean, there's like some limits, but I don't know. I'm surprised any of this surprises you. This is just how it works among like
it doesn't
like
surprise me.
A really annoying
me.
subset of people in media, but we've transcended them by we have the most popular podcast in the world now.
Yeah. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Well,
are we done with this?
We should probably do housekeeping. You should do it.
Okay, Jesse, we are a podcast. This is Blocked and Reported.
A very well-structured and organized podcast. Not a wasted second.
You can reach out to us at blockedandreportedpodcast@gmail.com. You can send feedback. You can send tips. You can send your invoices for locks of Moose's hair or Jesse's feet pics. He's still waiting for someone.
I mean, honestly, make an offer. If you want...
You have to pay shipping, though.
For the right price, yeah. I mean, no, make an offer including shipping if you want Moose's hair. It's great hair. I've touched it.
His hair is...
It's beautiful hair.
Genuinely beautiful. I'm not going to give you so much that you could, like, make a sweater out of it. I don't want him to be naked. He actually is a nudist. He doesn't wear a collar.
Why would you not have... This is like...
If anybody wants to...
You love Moose so much. Why would you not have him wear a collar?
Because how would you like to have something around your neck all the time? A choker.
I mean,
would you
that's
like
what
that?
I'm into. Yeah.
He wears a harness when we take him off the property, but he doesn't, with a tag on it, but he doesn't wear a collar.
All I'm saying is if you're a listener, make Katie an offer because the worst that will happen is she doesn't respond or says no.
Which would be terrible.
There's no harm in trying.
What else? If you would like to get almost twice as much content every month, sometimes twice as much content, you can join us. You can become a premium subscriber, a primo at blockedandreported.org. We have some good stuff coming up this month. We're going to do a couple of Pride episodes. Next week, I think we're going to do the Patagonia story. We also have a meltdown at a British, I don't even know what it fucking is, a queer thing. Later in the month, we're going to do a definitive Marsha P. Johnson myth-making episode, which I actually thought that we'd done years ago, but I can't find any trace of it, so apparently not, or I've just forgotten it. We're going to do it twice.
I do think you mentioned that every other episode.
That we've done it, but I can't actually find it.
No, that you mentioned Marsha P. Johnson.
Do you think that we did a Marsha P. Johnson episode?
How would I? I didn't remember Frederick Joseph. How would I know?
True.
How would I have any knowledge of what we've done?
You're a blank slate.
I am.
We also do these live chats. I did one earlier this week with Lisa Sellen Davis about the Park Slope Food Co-op. But really, it's just the best way, really the only way to keep the show going. And we would like to continue to do this. And if you don't support us for the low price of $7 a month, even less if you subscribe for a full year, then the show will end. And I don't know what you would listen to. Radio?
There's not a lot of other options for content.
Megyn Kelly?
Yeah, that's fucked up that you would not support us and then go listen to Megyn Kelly, this hypothetical person.
I think that's it. Do we have anything else that we do on housekeeping? Like and subscribe?
Email address?
I did that.
Apple Podcasts, rate and review us. Okay, today's episode, which we're only now getting into, is about nuisance streamers. Now, what does that term mean to you?
I assume, context clues, that a nuisance streamer is someone who streams while being a giant pain in the ass.
Well done. Now, I was like trying to think of where this came from, and to my aging millennial brain, I think Jackass. I think Tom Green. Do you remember the Tom Green show?
I loved it at the time. That was actually quite good.
I loved the Tom Green show. It was like high school for me.
I wonder how that's aged.
I'm sure very well.
You remember when he married Drew Barrymore?
I do. I was like hanging out with Monica Lewinsky at one point. And then Eric Andre also did sort of like street pranks. But for today's main subject, we're talking about someone who's much darker, who has taken. I don't mean
Jesse.
Yeah. I'm going to redo that. Don't.
I know you're not.
For today's main subject, we're here. I don't know we read it. Someone whose shtick is much darker and who has taken the stereotype of the ugly American abroad to a whole new level. His name is Mr. Johnny Somali. Johnny, whose real name is Ramzi Khalid Ismail, is a 25-ish YouTuber from Phoenix, Arizona. He says he has a Somalian father and an Ethiopian mother. Born in the States in 2000. Despite this, he claims to have both been a child soldier and a pirate.
What, in the Phoenix militia?
Jessica the 80s Baby could not find anything to suggest Johnny has ever actually lived in Somalia. And people, like members of the diaspora, do not really go there much for obvious reasons. Johnny Somali is, as we shall see, not known for his honesty, so this is likely bullshit. Now,
maybe he was in the ROTC, like at his American high school. The pirate thing, pirate for Halloween one year. Ooh, or pirated MP3s. I guess if he was born in 2000, he probably wasn't doing that.
So you're saying when he said he was a Somali pirate, what he meant was either he dressed up as a pirate one year or he downloaded MP3s?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
I try to take people at their word.
You have to in this day and age. In May 2023, he started streaming on both YouTube and Kick. Kick is like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like
the worst YouTube.
Yeah.
Clavicular streams on Kick.
If you watch YouTube and you're like, this is too classy and enjoyable, check out Click.
Yeah.
Kick, not Click.
Kick and Cack. That would be like a nuisance, like streamers, like Gen Z car streamers could be Kick and Cack.
His videos show him traveling through various countries, mostly in Asia. He's not like a travel influencer. He's a nuisance streamer, except he's a nuisance streamer who does this abroad. So yeah, a nuisance streamer is someone who pisses people off for views. They essentially go around trolling people in real life.
There was that one who we talked about a few times, the British kid.
Oh,
who was awful.
Was he the one who went to like
prison?
Afghanistan?
No. He was in London and he would basically assault people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think he got arrested.
So nuisance streamers will focus on like just scaring people on the street, shouting obscenities and so on. And the biggest ones do often go to places like East and Southeast Asia.
Why?
We're going to get into that. It's a good question.
Okay.
Perhaps the first major nuisance streamer incident took place, or at least one of the most famous ones, in 2017. Do you remember Logan Paul in the suicide forest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went to this forest in Japan. People said it was like a suicide forest, like people would go and kill themselves. That might completely not have been true. I don't actually know. Was there a body or several bodies?
Yeah, I think it is true. And he and his friends encountered a hanging body, and Logan asked it.
Why don't they fence it off?
Fence off the suicide forest?
Yeah, I guess Japan encourages that sort of thing.
That's your question from this story?
I mean, it like in San Francisco, like people commit suicide on that bridge and then they put up some guardrail or something. Don't you want to prevent? It's Japan. I don't know.
In the original video, Logan like asked of this hanging body, "Hey, you alive, bro?" That one's long gone. YouTube obviously will not let anyone re-upload it. We'll include a link to a few clips of the original video that do not include the body. So that incident led to a lot of negative publicity and an extremely cringe apology. And YouTube actually briefly cut ties with Logan Paul, which is a really big sliding door in human history. Imagine if that had just been it for Logan Paul.
Yeah, definitely.
How much better off we'd be.
He'll be in politics someday.
When nuisance streaming goes wrong, as the Suicide Forest example indicates, it goes very wrong. One of the worst nuisance streamers I've come across is a guy named Dalton Etherly, aka Chud the Builder. His shtick is he walks around calling black people the N-word.
Oh, man.
In May...
Not smart. Not cool.
That's your take. Not smart or cool?
I said not cool, too.
So in May, he was arrested for causing a disturbance at a restaurant in Nashville. And just a few days later, he got...
What kind of restaurant?
I don't know.
Because I feel like there's like very different... If you go to like
standards of behavior, like at an IHOP, it would take a lot to get arrested.
You get free pancakes,
or like a Denny's at 3 a.m.
Right, but if it's like a hot chicken place, you're getting your ass beat.
I don't know where this was, but more importantly, a few days later, he got into a shootout with someone, guns and all, outside a courthouse. He's now facing attempted murder charges. He himself was hit and sustained minor injuries. If you've watched any clips of any of his videos, it will come as a shock to you that he wasn't murdered years ago. Like, that's who this guy was.
This seems like a good ending, actually. No one killed. He gets minor injuries and faces 15 years in prison. This is best case scenario.
Guy who walks around screaming the N-word. Yeah, this could have gone way worse. Anyway, back to Johnny Somali. So... let's start with this sort of teaser. There's a amuse-bouche. Watch this video from Thailand and describe it, and we'll embed the audio. This is like light fare as far as Johnny Somali is concerned.
Wallah, I'm not eating this shit.
Okay, he's walking. He's like, he must have like a GoPro on his head or something. It's like first person perspective. This is like not entertaining. He's just walking around. He's got food. He offers it to people. He throws it on the ground. This is terrible content.
Yeah, it's really bad content. This was, I think, from earlier on when he was like, hasn't really found his niche yet. Now watch this one where he steps it up a little bit.
Psychopathic Andy, nigga. I'm psycho, nigga.
Once again, throwing stuff on the ground. He's just walking down the street. He's wearing a skeleton mask with googly eyes.
You want to eat watermelon, nigga? What? Show these niggas psycho, nigga. Keep moving, nigga.
This is going to be the most N-words in any episode of this show.
Which, given that you're the co-host, is surprising.
Okay, he's yelling. He just like yells at this guy. He's acting like a schizophrenic. If I saw this dude acting like this, I would think he was on drugs, on meth, or crazy. Yes.
You would think he was crazy.
Or a streamer.
So Japan has had like issues with streamers. In 2023, a YouTuber known as Phidias pranked a hotel in Kyoto, convincing an employee he was a guest so he could go to the buffet and have a free meal just for content.
Okay, that's kind of
funny.
That's cool.
That's at least cool. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Last year, a couple of Twitch streamers used cherry blossom trees as pull-up bars.
Not cool.
Not cool. These are considered sacred in Japan. One of the streamers eventually posted a long apology. Nuisance streamers have caused so many problems in Japan that the police and armed forces have actually run anti-terrorism drills.
Wow.
Imagining scenarios about rogue YouTubers making bomb threats.
Japan is... I have so much admiration for them. They take law and order seriously.
They really do. So you asked why nuisance streamers go to Asia. There are a few reasons. Most basic one is just things are cheap in places like Thailand or the Philippines. I think less so in Japan. And nuisance streaming may not, it's not going to make you millions unless you're really lucky. It also allows them to work a cultural element into their content. It's like you're not just pissing people off, but you're disrespecting their culture. The language, the language barrier in like a morbid way makes it like something. It adds something. They also might get more entertaining reactions than if they just stayed in the US. So like a black guy like Johnny Somali pretending to be mentally ill in public at home in Arizona, he could get shot.
Oh, yeah. Is that why they go to the Asia? Because their gun laws are stricter?
Way less likely to happen in Thailand. And they also tend to go to countries that are just popular vacation hotspots. Yeah. Presumably that just gets them more views.
Yeah, I'm interested in going to Thailand and I want to know what it's like there. So I start streaming. I start watching Johnny Somali streams. You know where they should go? They should go to like Salt Lake City.
The Mormons would no, it wouldn't work because Mormons would just turn the other cheek. They'd be like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you get the help you need. Have
you heard the good word?
There's also an element of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I didn't realize that the Brits, Jessica Lady's Baby says what happens on tour stays on tour. I guess like,
what happens in Ibiza
happens on holiday. So yeah, nuisance streamers are far from home. They might feel like they don't have to worry about the consequences of their actions in the same way. When you're on vacation, things just feel less real in general. I have not spent time in these parts of the world. But if you've been to a place like Bali, my sense is like Australians and Europeans and Americans just like sort of go crazy there. Katie, you're a big East and Southeast Asia party girl, right?
What happens in Phuket?
I watched that season of The White Lotus, so I feel like I basically understand the dynamics.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately for
You're on island time.
Unfortunately for many of these nuisance streamers, it turns out, surprisingly, that actions do have consequences, even if they're in a foreign country. So
I would say perhaps especially in a foreign country.
In some cases especially. So,
yes.
So a lot of these places, the Thai Islands, Bali, Japan, they're already extremely over-touristed, and local people are fed up with tourists behaving badly. So describe this sign in Japan.
Okay, so the sign is in English, which tells you something. Japan is not a theme park. And then there are little graphics with text reading. Temples and shrines are not social media backgrounds. Okay, that seems a little much. Public spaces are not social media backgrounds. Torii gates, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's those... picture Japanese
You'd
gates.
know them if you see them.
Yes.
It's just like this really pretty... It's a really cool design.
It's like what are those called? The things that people put on their gardens?
Gnomes?
No, not that.
Tomato
Definitely
plants?
not that. No, not that either.
Fences?
I'm forgetting the name. Torii gates are not fitness appliances. And then there's a graphic of someone doing a pull-up on one of these. Subways and buses are not performance stages. Okay, that's just anti-art. Pagodas are not climbing walls. Temples and shrines are not performance stages.
So yeah.
Have you ever seen, like, you live in New York, so have you ever been in public when influencers are, like, doing their TikTok dances?
Oh my God.
Do you see that? Really, you see that?
Oh my God. Are you kidding me, Katie?
That's my dream, is to see that. Like, I want to be in an airport where someone's doing a TikTok dance and there's no music. There's just like the sound of feet scuffing. I want to see it. I do want to see it.
Well, in Times Square, you can pay to have this device that will like do a 360 camera zooming around you, or like a holder for a phone.
Like a drone? Okay.
No, just like a thing with an arm. So just like the whole world is a fucking TikTok dance at this point. And when I lived in Berlin, it was really weird, the selfie. There's a really well done dramatic Holocaust monument not far from the Brandenburg Gate. And
great content.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, yes. People would like post really whatever. It's very distasteful. Although apparently people post distasteful selfies from Auschwitz, so that's where we're at right now. So
well, you gotta let your friends know that you travel, that you're getting a passport stamp.
So important.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Russian influencers getting deported from Indonesia for posing naked at sacred sites. This has apparently become, in Bali, has apparently become a common news story. And apparently these countries are just tired of being playgrounds for influencers behaving badly, and they are fighting back. So
honestly, good.
Yeah. One example is a case of Vitaly. Oh, man.
Good luck.
I'm sorry. I do often try to be better about looking these up. Katie, I'm going to have you take a stab at this. Zdoretsky. Let's just call him Vitaly. He's a Russian-American nuisance streamer who started out filming pranks in the U.S., then he moved overseas. We'll link to a video that gives a taste of what he got up to overseas. This includes stealing a security guard's hat, stealing a security guard's motorcycle, threatening to rob a woman, stealing a fan from a store, going into the kitchen of a McDonald's to cook his own burger. That's kind of cool. Jumping onto the roof of a moving jeepney, which is like a Filipino bus, jumping onto the back of a scooter that someone was riding and telling the driver that he was going to steal the scooter. That's hilarious. To pretend to mug somebody. That's so funny.
This is criminal. These people are, is he young? Is he Gen Z? This is making me, I know this isn't fair, but this is making me hate all of Gen Z.
That was
These fuckers are antisocial.
That was a really astute observation when you said these illegal acts are criminal. In April 2025, Vitaly was arrested, facing charges of unjust vexation, which is such a good name for a crime. This is a criminal offense in the Philippines.
Being really fucking annoying. Put that on the books.
Yeah, it's a criminal offense in the Philippines that basically means being a giant dick. His team tried to get the charges dropped, citing mental health reasons.
Yeah. Does that work in the Philippines?
It does not. So, Katie, click this YouTube link and describe what you're seeing.
Welcome to my MPD crib. I know you've been wondering where I've been. As most of you guys know, I got arrested on April 2nd, 2025. I'm currently at Immigration Center or Warden Facility. I've been here for 69 days.
So he's in a very small room.
A cell, not a room.
How did he get a fucking phone? Take his phone away.
Question, actually.
That would be prison enough for these guys if they could never have another fucking phone. honestly, also, maybe this is just his hairline, but he looks too old to be doing this. I mean, they're all too old to be doing this, but he doesn't look like a 19-year-old.
The conditions do look really awful. I would not wish this even on the most annoying streamer to be stuck in a Filipino prison.
He's got a phone.
He said he tried to reach out for support because he felt his human rights were being violated. Southeast Asian prisons, not great. Nobody came to his rescue. Now,
I don't feel bad for him at all.
I absolutely feel bad. He was a dick.
You do?
Well, yeah. I feel bad for anyone. I feel bad for no one. Shitty prison conditions are one of the worst things humans do to other humans.
No, stealing a security guard's hat is one of the worst things humans do to other prisons.
Okay, person A steals person B's hat.
Going into a McDonald's to cook your own burger. That is, you know how disrespectful that is to McDonald's, to Ronald.
So
who are you, the burger burglar?
The Filipino authorities had some problems with Vitali's case. He's a Russian national, but a U.S. green card holder, and shockingly, neither Russia nor America wanted him back. We're like, no, you take him.
Where are they? Wait, where's Trump sending refugees? Congo. Send him to Congo.
For a time, it looked like he'd be stuck in Filipino jail. Eventually, a resolution was found, and after 9 months in custody, he was deported to Russia and banned from ever entering the Philippines again. Apparently, this caused a bit of drama as a lot of YouTube commentators thought he might get conscripted and sent to the front lines in Ukraine, which I don't really see them. I think that'd be a good solution for this.
You want nuisance YouTubers fighting against Ukraine? That's actually more fucked up.
Actually, that would be, it's win-win-win.
Nuisance droners.
Win-win-win. It weakens the Russian front.
Oh, true. Good point.
He has to learn some goddamn respect and discipline.
Yeah. You know, that actually... Forcing people into the military, like young men in particular who need some fucking discipline, not the worst idea. Not the worst idea.
He was eventually allowed to return to the U.S.
No.
And he continues to make videos, including accosting pedophiles who sometimes turn out not to be pedophiles. We'll include a link to that.
He's a pedo hunter.
I don't understand how this guy is allowed to walk free. Anyway.
Well, this is USA. In USA... You can violate any form of laws, but if you are a seasoned pedo hunter, Trump will let you out of jail. He will pardon your ass. Unless you're connected to Epstein.
This guy's experience in the Filipino jail might have acted as a bit of a wake-up call, like a reminder that punishments in Asia can be very different from those in the West. Do you remember the case of Michael Fay?
Yes. Yeah.
Remind people.
He stole a poster. Was that right?
No, that was that poor kid.
No, that was the North Korean.
That was more recent. That was a kid who
he
stole
died.
a poster and died in North Korean custody.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
I think because of when it occurred, there were some white privilege takes about the dead kid. It was insane.
If he had been brown, he would have died faster.
Michael Fay was...
Yeah, Michael Fay, he got caned.
He got caned.
What did he have, weed? No.
I thought that's how I'd remembered it, but apparently he had egged some cars in the 90s. Singapore is very hardcore about law and order stuff. And yeah, he was caned.
Yeah. I saw something on Twitter the other day. Someone was talking about how... Japan is someone had spent a couple months in Japan. Japan is this very high trust society. You know, you can leave your laptop at a cafe and nobody will steal it. And it's okay, maybe it's a high trust society because they have extremely strict law enforcement and rules and consequences for actions. And I feel sort of torn about this in a way. I also I think nuisance. I think this is this sort of antisocial behavior. I hate this shit. I really hate this shit. I also want to live in a country, I think, that's free, that has a sense of real freedom. Yeah. But I also want these people to get the death penalty. And I'm struggling with that in myself. Can you have it both ways?
You're saying
freedom and the death penalty for nuisance streamers?
Could you have a society that is both free but also kills anyone who's annoying? Yes. That's your question.
Yes. Yes.
That's a really good question. Philosophers have, since Plato's Republic, people have been grappling with this. I want a society where I'm allowed to be annoying, but anyone who annoys me is killed.
I don't want to be annoying. I'm not annoying. They're annoying. I am not a nuisance streamer.
Let's get back to Johnny Somali.
Okay.
So, yeah, he actually did start out as something of a travel vlogger. He would stream from parties in Thailand. He didn't find much success, so that's what pivoted him to more outrageous content. In 2023, he traveled to Japan.
That is so depressing. Just being a normal tourist, you get to nowhere, so your pivot is to be as big an asshole as possible.
I mean, yes,
and
this whole story is depressing as hell. In 2023, he traveled to Japan. He made numerous videos. I'm doing huge air quotes, rapping or just shouting about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, about how the bombings, quote, got me lit, and how he hoped the U.S. would do it again. Here's a video of him. We're going to embed some of the audio, but Katie, just describe the reaction from these Japanese salarymen on the train.
He's on a subway talking to a guy. Guy takes his AirPod out.
Oh, niggas, spy balloon. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know what we do to you niggas? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We destroy it. Because you niggas don't know how to behave. Wallahi billahi wa tallahi. I swear to God. You do again, we're gonna do again. You understand?
Every time I've been on the subway in New York, there seems like there's someone like this, not generally streaming. Do you think it's possible that the schizophrenic on the New York subway is actually a streamer?
Thin line, but no, unfortunately in New York, it's gotten a little bit more worse and confrontational. So eventually Johnny and his cameraman were arrested. They were first for trespassing, then for obstructing business in a restaurant because they played loud music on the phone and refused to turn it down.
Death penalty.
He was fined the equivalent of about $1,400 and banned from Japan.
Triple that. Quadruple that.
Now, at this point in the story, like the sources of these old clips of his streams are just small website. Like at the time, he was just not well known. He had about 1,000 subscribers. The only real coverage he got was from local Japanese news sources. This occasionally led to locals approaching him to shout the N-word or punch him, but he wasn't really...
Wait, like, are they nuisance streamers too?
No, I think because he would use the... I assume what's going on is because he uses the N-word so much in his stream.
I think that's his name.
Or it could just be Japanese people are incredibly racist, which is not, which is possible. Yeah. So he did eventually gain enough notoriety that he was occasionally recognized in public. We're going to drop a little video here from a later date in Thailand. This is an Israeli man with a Japanese wife confronting him.
I got a problem with you, bro. Yeah. My wife is Japanese.
Okay.
You go there insulting people like that. You know how many people died from Hiroshima joking about that shit?
I know.
So why are you joking about other people?
I was drunk.
Point is, he's getting more recognizable. And as a result of the Japan incidents, Johnny Somali has been banned from Twitch, temporarily.
That's worse than being banned from Japan.
Temporarily banned even from Kick. This doesn't dissuade him from continuing his career, if you can call him that. In April 2024, he goes to Israel. He attaches photos of Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Jewish-American streamer Aiden Ross to the Western Wall, which is a holy site in Judaism. He's promptly arrested. 2 days later, he's arrested again, this time for sexually harassing a female police officer.
Oh, you do not want to sexually harass an Israeli police officer.
Not a great idea. So his streams from Israel often involved him being punched or beaten up in public. This will not surprise you. Israelis are different cultural norms, I would say, than Japan.
Yeah.
He left the country fairly quickly, and in September 2024, he moved on to South Korea. By this time, he had about 18,000 subscribers, so still small by streamer standards, but he's starting to gain some notoriety.
Yeah.
Now, almost immediately, he was able to generate headlines in the South Korean news. He played North Korean music loudly on a bus. He played speeches by Kim Jong-un loudly on a subway. The biggest drama, though, involved the Statue of Peace. You know about the Korean comfort women? Do you know about this?
Yeah, this was women who were raped by the Japanese military. Is that right?
Yeah, they were basically coerced into sex slavery during the period of Japanese colonization of the Korean Peninsula. So there's this famous Statue of Peace, which is a statue of one of these women, and it's seated in Seoul directly facing the Japanese embassy. Confrontational bit of commemoration, understandably, and the specific...
That's a little bit of a fuck you, a little subtle fuck you.
Understandably so. Not subtle. The specific issue of comfort women causes a lot of ongoing problems because Japan has formally apologized and paid some compensation to victims, but the apologies draw this distinction between the acts of the Japanese military and the Japanese government, implying the government was not responsible, which, Koreans don't like. And Japan has actually considers the placement of the statue illegal and has requested its removal. So it's a little bit of a diplomatic contretemps. Is that a word?
Sure.
Cool.
I speak French.
I speak French. Contretemps.
That's the name of the Knicks player.
Is that racist? I can't tell.
The Spurs player.
So Imperial Japan is a really sensitive historical topic there. And yet,
Koreans don't love the Japanese.
Johnny Somali filmed himself sitting down next to the Statue of Peace, kissing her cheek, and claiming, "I love Korea and everything that I did in Japan was for Korean and Chinese people." This incident was considered most serious because it's just like it's very sacrilegious what he's doing to kiss the cheek of the statue of a woman who represents victims of sex slavery.
Right.
There's a Korean media timeline of other things he did in the country we'll link to. He threw noodles on the table of a convenience store. He harassed members of the public by showing them the flag of Imperial Japan, and on and on and on. He also lap danced on the Statue of Peace. We'll include another video of that. So there's military service is still mandatory for all Korean men, and they take it very seriously because of the whole situation with their unfriendly neighbor to the north. So within a couple of weeks of Johnny's arrival in Korea and his first controversial videos, Korean men started basically attacking him everywhere he went. So there are huge numbers of videos of Koreans
Korea does have a racism problem.
That's what I was getting at. That's what this is. It is technically anti-black violence, but in this case,
it's deserved.
There are huge numbers of videos of Koreans just punching Johnny Somali.
Oh wow!
And we're going to include.
So wait, are they his videos, or are they also?
I think other people stream them. I think sometimes he gets attacked on stream, and in some cases, people post their own videos.
Oh, God.
In one case,
wait, are they getting arrested for this?
I think it varies, but like they seem to be able to do it with complete impunity because check out this video.
Because he deserves it.
We're standing here in Gwangjang Market, and I'm here with Jung Do, who infamously punched Johnny Somali in the face while he was standing right here.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
I had a few questions for him about what happened, and my first question would be, why did you do it?
So the reason why I did it is because he was assaulting people in my country. Just by his behavior, just made me feel like furious, made me go like blind rage, just by harassing women and children.
I like this because the Korean guy is masked. So he's like good citizen, following protocols, wearing the mask, trying to protect people. And also he's committing assault because the dude's just fucking annoying.
Yeah. Korean news story reports the identity and motive of the man who punched Ismail remains unknown. The video has since spread across online communities, with netizens responding with comments like, "A hero has appeared, much appreciated, Captain Korea, and he put a cocky YouTuber in his place." At one point, Johnny went to visit an acquaintance, Yu Hyunjong, aka Hank, who previously got some coverage in Texas as the Asian Nazi.
There's only one?
I'm sure there's more than one. A mob of vigilante South Korean YouTubers surrounded Yu's house to confront Johnny as he emerged. Johnny Somali ran away from them, although one of them managed to kick him as he fled. One martial arts influencer offered a bounty of $1,500 for anyone who would tell him Johnny's whereabouts.
Does he ever apologize for this shit? Or does he just continue?
There's a little bit, if you watch the rest of the video of the Israeli guy, he claims he's just a troll. There's also a video we'll link to of him apologizing for the Statue of Peace incident, claiming he didn't understand its significance. But by then, he's already being investigated by the police for the convenience store stuff, as well as
Wait, what's the convenience store stuff?
Oh, he threw the noodles on the convenience store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also allegations of drug use and assault. He'd already been barred from leaving the country at this point. So for him to...
They should conscript him. I think this is the solution here.
Yeah. So, yeah, as a result of all of this, he does face charges. In March of 2025, Johnny Somali's trial begins. He's charged with obstruction of business for throwing noodles on the table at the convenience store, for disturbing members of the public by approaching them while holding a foul-smelling bag of fish, and playing loud music on subways and buses. These were all considered violations of South Korea's Minor Crimes Act.
I don't think any of these would be illegal in USA.
He arrived late to the trial wearing a MAGA hat.
Was he streaming? Did he have a fucking GoPro on his MAGA hat?
Well, during the trial, he did go online to call South Korea a U.S. vassal state, which
super smart,
very smart thing to do. More charges were added. 2 Korean YouTubers.
Is he a MAGA guy, or is this just antagonizing?
I don't think he's anything.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a soul down there. More charges were added because 2 Korean YouTubers accused him of using their likenesses to make deepfake pornography. Now, we should be careful here because, like, describe this image.
Okay, it's Johnny Somali with a laptop, and on the screen are 2 people kissing.
Yeah, so these were videos he did of him kissing streamers and like saying that's my girlfriend. So it's like it's very creepy. It's not.
Oh, he's one of the guys.
Except and it's like clothes on, but
it's deep fake porn of himself.
This was really bad because South Korea has had some high profile deep fake porn cases.
Oh my God, it just occurred to me, people are going to be able to like like if you're a virgin and you want to convince that your friends that you're not, you're going to be able just to AI that shit.
This just occurred to you that deep fake porn could be a thing?
Well, it just occurred to me that you could put yourself in it.
Well, because that's usually how people announce they've lost their virginity to their friends, is showing a video.
Yes, you show your friends a video of it. You didn't do that? Because you haven't.
This was particularly dumb for him to do in like a particularly sensitive subject. There have been these high-profile deepfake cases in South Korea, and there are these huge, like 30,000 member Telegram groups that distribute deepfake porn videos. This has led to mass protests and a zero-tolerance policy among law enforcement. If he just wanted to be a regular nuisance streamer, he might have gotten away with just a deportation, but deepfake porn in South Korea now carries guaranteed jail time.
Oh, wow.
So ultimately, in April of this year, he was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to 6 months in prison with hard labor.
It's not enough.
Actually, it's seen as mild, given the whole deepfake controversy over there.
What sort of labor is hard labor in Korea?
That's a good question. I hope he's just not allowed near maybe a factory making phones, but not access to them.
Phones, you can. Yes.
Johnny and the prosecutors have both appealed the sentence. The prosecutors are seeking a harsher one. Here's an interesting legal statement translated into English from the prosecutors. Katie, please read.
The fact that a victim responded resolutely must not be interpreted as meaning that they did not suffer sexual humiliation. Such reasoning risks sending the wrong message to deepfake victims, that they must actively express their suffering in order to have their harm recognized. And we believe that the relatively low sentence, 6 months imprisonment, compared to the prosecution's request, 3 years, was not unrelated to this reasoning.
Well, it's an interesting idea that, like, just because the victims aren't, like, crying and screaming about having been wronged, that doesn't mean the harm was any less intense. And so they're saying they think because the victims were relatively
straight-faced,
level-headed about it.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll link to another video that analyzes the deepfake controversy that's worth checking out. Now, ironically, the incident that got the most publicity, which was his behavior at the statue of the Comfort Woman, was not actually part of the trial. This was something outlets like The Guardian got wrong, but he was not sentenced to prison for kissing a statue. He was sentenced to prison for what is technically deepfake pornography. So will this put an end to nuisance streamers? No, absolutely not.
No, this might be good for like nuisance streaming from prison. That could be a whole new thing. People being more annoying just so they can get sentenced and smuggle a phone into their butts. And also you probably also have to smuggle a Starlink. So you better stretch those assholes. And then great content.
You better stretch those assholes. Thanks for listening. I'm curious. The Philippines guy, Vitali, I should have looked into how he got the phone. I'm curious if maybe...
Butthole, Jesse, obviously.
It could also be that Filipino authorities, it's not the worst thing in the world from their point of view.
To
sort of show like this is what's waiting for you if you're a dick in our country.
So he's still streaming.
Johnny Somali?
No.
Vitali. No, he was the one who came back to the States. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Johnny Somali, we will only wait and see. I would find it I really can't wait to see what he does next.
You're a fan.
A huge fan. He seems like a really good guy. We don't live in a hellish age. It's great.
I'm mad.
Why are you mad?
I'm mad about this. I don't know.
That he got imprisoned?
No, not at all. I think I'm anti-death penalty except for nuisance streamers.
Or just streamers in general.
I'm
saying all streamers should get the death penalty.
You have good streamers.
Who's a good streamer? Name one.
Clavicular, who's only doing things like assaulting people, ODing on camera, shooting
dead alligators, possibly raping an underage woman on Cape Cod. Just good stuff.
Did you see that Clavicular? I saw this picture today. He just had his leg lengthening surgery.
Dude, I fucking can't with that guy.
You should get that. How tall can we get Jesse?
Oh my God. We do a crowdfund and I'll get my legs as long as the amount of money
7
I get
feet.
are allowed. Then I'm going up against Wembanyama next year's
that.
finals. Can't wait.
All right, Jesse, thank you for that. Horrible story.
I feel dirty. Yeah. Horrible story. This has been Blotch Reported. As always, we're produced with help from Jessica, the 80s baby, especially this week. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.